everyone and welcome back to another episode of Rift News, the show that lets you catch up with everything surrounding League of Legends. Unless you are into esports. That one we generally avoid. There are too many competitors, I can't please everyone. In the last episode of Rift News, we talked about the Aatrox teaser and the new Lion and Wolf teaser. Unfortunately, about an hour before we released that video, Riot decided to reveal the teasers and Aatrox entirely and release him on PBE. So this time, let's start with everything new that came with him. His reveal began with his champion trailer, which got people hyped because it seems like we are getting another Riven on our hands. Just like her, Aatrox has a lot of dashing and flipping in his kit. But the part that got people confused is his voice. Let's have a quick peek at it.
You think you can kill me? Behold immortality! Let them lament my name.
I personally don't mind the change. It is something you'll get used to pretty quickly. Especially after you have a look at his normal quotes.
Tricked into this existence. Fall slave entrapped by endless life. I shall become a beast, feeding on their destruction and making them lament my unholy birth.
By the way he talks, you can tell his lore goes far deeper than we might think. He is talking about the very creation of the Darkin, and you can tell that he is not really happy about being one. So from me, I like this voice. When it comes to his gameplay, you can tell that Riot tried to preserve the feeling of playing a Blade Master. There is a lot of dancing around the battlefield. His passive is a strike on cooldown that deals damage based on percentage of maximum health. And it reduces healing and shielding on the target, which is something we haven't seen in a while. His Q is very similar to Riven. It has 3 charges where the first 2 are swipes and the third one is a slam. If you hit the target with the edge of the first 2 swipes or with the center of the slam, it will also knock the enemy up. His W creates an area around his target which will pull it back to the center unless they manage to leave it in time. His E gives him passive healing from his damage. And its active is a short dash that can be cast during his abilities, meaning you can use it to quickly reposition to hit the knockups on your Qs. The dash can also store up to 2 charges. This is where most of the blade dancing comes from. His ultimate transforms him into his true form. He fears nearby minions, gets increased movement speed and increased damage. While transformed, he gains a blood well, and I am happy to hear about it again because of our theory, which stores health over the duration. After taking lethal damage, he will absorb all the stored health and revive. His reveal also showed us his new splash art, and here I would say, this is my favorite Riot's piece of art by far. I seriously love this one. I'm just honestly sad that his color scheme in-game doesn't match his art, because I love this hellish black and red, instead of the red and bluish grey. But outside of his base skin, Riot also had to update the splash arts for his skins, since he now has a new sword. And thanks to skin spotlights, we also know what the skins look like in-game. But that's not the only thing that appeared on PBE. As we said at the beginning, the Lion and the Wolf teaser was also revealed and it happens to be 2 new legendary skins for Darius and Garen. And those of you who know me know that I love serious skins that enhance the champion's visuals. So, God King Garen and God King Darius are exactly what I was looking for. Both of them will be priced at the standard legendary 1820 RP. Darius has new glowing dark effects, he has his own wolf pet, and his axe turns into a scythe when using abilities. On top of this, his ultimate turns him into a wolf. His dance is also a meme. We even got a short skin bio to go with it. God King Darius is an ancient bringer of carnage, a descendant of primordial deities long forgotten in the shadow of Demacia. Slaughtering monarchs and gods alike, he seeks to end the false world of unity and peace. Ushering in an age of endless war, only the strongest will survive. To top all of this off, God King Darius also has his own login screen. On the other side, we have God King Garen. Being a massive fan of paladins in fantasy worlds, I adore this skin. I love the massive shoulder pads and the angelic cape. All of his abilities also went through massive visual effects upgrades. The Starlight Blue theme is present everywhere. His W summons his lion, and for his E he actually splits his blade in two. You can see him carrying two swords. This very heavily reminds me of Varian Wrynn from World of Warcraft, who did exactly the same thing. His ultimate also resembles his lion. And we also got Garen's part of the story. God King Garen stands as the last descendant of a primordial race of divinities, and the final bulwark against the end of civilization. He rules his vast kingdom of Demacia with an iron fist, jealously protecting his people as a self-styled messiah, while rooting out and destroying all who would oppose him. And of course, he also got his login screen. Later we found out that both Garen and Darius will get their own wards as well. Next we also got 7 new emotes, including a lion and a wolf and the Dark Star 2018. And together with that, the Rift Rivals 2018 login screen. Outside of these, PBE also saw some new client additions. In-game, Riot is still tweaking the new cursor and they are looking for feedback, so feel free to head over to their boards if you want to be part of this. But Riot is also adding brand new icons and ward stabs to the collection. They have also separated the icons into multiple tiers just like normal champion skins. We got ultimate icons, which are the rarest you can get, those would be icons from special events. Mythic, which would likely be from the last quest during mission chains. Epic, which are mostly parts of limited bundles. Rare, which are legacy icons, bundle icons, special events or esports. And normal, which are just normal icons. The rules for rarities aren't really set in stone here. Surrender at 20 also found some strings leading to the events that will accompany the release of the Darius and Garen skins. The Versus Event 2018 will be similar to that of Riven and Yasuo, which means special missions, all random earth, exclusive rewards and more. There also seems to be a mention of lion and wolf orbs, which likely means that I have to burn more money so I can see if they are better than the birdie bags. Later, Surrender at 20 also data mines the textures for the event's decorations. So just like it was with the Nasus and Warwick statues, there will be massive Darius and Garen on Summoner's Rift somewhere. Since patch 8.12 has arrived to live servers, you can also expect a lot of new stuff in your client right now. Besides all of the usual balancing, you can expect new emotes that were previously teased, but you can also find them in a brand new emote store. On top of this, the price of emotes is getting reduced to 350 RP down from 450. If you bought an emote between May the 29th and June 11th, you'll get the difference refunded. And as an early thanks, you'll also receive an animated Mpengu emote if you purchased any emotes before 8.12. This one will also be craftable for 5 gemstones between the 26th of June and the 10th of July. Riot is also launching new mystery emotes that go for 195 RP. We all know what to expect from these. A random emote that you haven't already received. As a bonus, all emotes now have custom sounds. But besides emotes, 8.12 also released Playmaker Lee Sin and Sweeper Rammus with all their chromas. Again, keep in mind that these skins are legacy, so they will be harder to get once they are gone. If you are less into digital goodies and you would like to hold onto something physical, head over to Riot's merch store as the plush sale will still be on for a couple of days. There is a 30% off sale for all plushies until the 25th of June, so don't wait. And to finish off this video, let's have a look at the latest Ask Riot. This time we have 3 shorter-ish questions and answers. Some of my favorite champions in the past have been ones with simple, more straightforward kits and gameplay. Old Cho'Gath, Old Swain, Old Taric. Are there any plans to make new champions with simple and easy playstyles? This question is very popular, so I'm happy to finally see a clear answer. It was answered by Riot Scruffy. Simple, straightforward champs have a lot of pros and cons, but overall we agree that they are an important and fun part of the League of Legends roster. The big benefit is that it opens up a more discussion-based and less input mechanic-based playstyle that's really appealing to some types of players, especially new ones. A cost and common drawback is that they are often much more powerful in low elo play, so when balanced they end up being a non-viable option in higher levels of play. Simple champions can also devolve much more quickly into stat check gameplay when they are snowballed ahead or behind, because they don't have enough tools to outplay their opponents. To answer your original question, we will likely not be adding a lot more of the old Taric style of champions to the game, because we think that the amount we have right now is serving that niche pretty well. In the case of VGUs, we are trying to keep the simple champion simple when we can. I think Warwick was a good example of this, where we made a lot of good changes to his kit without pushing it into the high mechanic space. So in short, it seems like we won't get simple champions. Do you ever worry that a new champion you are working on will be so good that everyone will want to play it and abandon older champions? This one was answered by Reeve. Honestly, this isn't something we worry about at all. We always strive to make our champions as good as we can, and we don't really mind if people abandon their current champions to play them. In fact, this has to happen to some extent with every champion release in order for them to make their own dedicated player base. Ideally, all of our champions are high quality so that players are mainly picking champions based on what gameplay or theme excites them, rather than how new or old they are. We have a long road ahead of us to get our entire cast up to those standards, which is why we have been doing more and more VGUs over the years. How often do you design skins as "let's make a new Super Galaxy skin" versus "let's make a new Darius skin", for example? Does it tend to be one much more than the other? This is an interesting question that delves into how Riot picks the next skin. It is answered by Supercakes. A while back, our strategy was much more, let's make a new Darius skin, what should we make? But once we started seeing how much players enjoyed getting skins in theme packs, and how we could use those themes to run bigger events in League, we definitely shifted into the opposite direction. It became more about, players would probably enjoy another Versus event this year, and 2 legendary skins to go with it. Which champions would be awesome for this? In that model, there is an extra step where we look at how many skins the potential champions have in their catalog, time since last skin and so on. Otherwise, you would have 3 Jhin skins in 1 year just because he fits a bunch of cool thematics that we have planned. Oh wait. Still, there are many times where we look at champions we want to make a skin for and do a little bit of both. I think the recent Galio, Illaoi and Shen skins are all good examples of this. Even though Galio hadn't had a new skin in quite some time, we felt we could give him a light-hearted April Fool skin, because he has a fair amount of serious skins in his catalog. Illaoi, on the other hand, was a champion that hasn't had a skin since launch. As much as we love the community idea of used car salesperson Illaoi, we were concerned that her first skin since launch being more on the trolley side would be disappointing to players who had waited so long for a skin. With her, it became more about what theme really works for Illaoi, regardless of theme packs this year. And then, as you know, a community vote. And then sometimes the stars align. Shen was way overdue for a skin, and we found an exciting home for him in the Pulsefire universe as a part of the theme pack for this year. So, all of that to say both? It depends? Let's go with 70% let's make a new insert theme name here skin for Darius, and 30% let's make a new Darius skin. But don't quote me on my math, despite me making this post completely quotable. P.S. The skins coming out for Aurelian Sol and Urgot in the next few months are one of each. So to end this video, we have a confirmation on skins for Aurelian Sol and Urgot. If we believe that really old leak, Aurelian might get a skin based on the Harrowing. I believe the leak called out a haunted Aurelian Sol. But for Urgot, we might get a pool party version of him. I honestly don't know what other theme he would fit in, unless he would also be Harrowing. Just don't forget that we still can get a new Star Guardian line. And possibly later in the year we can get a Snowman Urgot. But those are all just blind guesses. So, that's going to be it for this episode of Rift News. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like it and subscribe for more lore and news. The bell button is getting more and more important, so make sure to click it as well. If you'd like to chat, our social media, Twitch, merch and P.O.Box will be in the description. Of course, massive shout out to our patrons for going the extra mile, you guys are awesome. And with that, thank you so much for being here and for your support, you know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you, come again.